All right, Coach. Obviously, not the result you wanted, but it was an intense game, back and forth. We were talking in the booth. I mean, we looked at our calendar, made sure it was February because that felt like a May game. There, your thoughts on the game overall?
Yeah, I mean, great game. It was such a fun game, and as coaches talked afterwards of like it was a ton of fun. You saw some big hits, you saw some real big pitching moments, some great defensive plays. Um, so it was just really fun to be a part of. And I think for us, we're still a young squad, and so you saw those young moments at the end, and once we clean those up, look out.
So Missouri got on the board quick in the second inning. You go ahead and you pull Mancha and you put in you pull Vasquez and you put in Mancha. What was the thought process behind that decision?
So earlier today we just decided we were going to pitch as a staff, pitch by committee, and so they knew the plan. They knew they were going to probably go about one time through the lineup. And some of the pitchers were better matchups to some of the different hitters in the lineup. So I think Bree did a good job. They're very good hitters, and they can hit good pitches and they can hit pitches that miss sometimes. So just bringing Mancha in to slow it down and get us back in the dugout so we could produce some runs for them as well.
Earlier you mentioned you said you mentioned the young players making some mistakes towards the end of the game. From watching in the stand, I remember you asking about. I know the pinch runner. She, I think it was on a weird count. She ran and she got called out. Can you take me through like what was going through her mind with that run? Because I was kind of on the same page with you. I want to see what you were thinking on that one.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. I think, that she's a pretty good runner and it just didn't work out for her in that scenario. And I think if we take that play back, we'd like to run it in a different way next time. But again, there's a lot of emotions going at that time and excitement, and you can't punish or harm, get mad at somebody for wanting the game so badly. But again, that goes back to just learning the momentum of the game and knowing, later times in the game. And I think when we get that play back in another scenario, we're going to do the right thing.
Your team, responded. You fell behind 5-0 early, but you didn't blink. Your team responded back in the third inning. I know that it's not something you want to do often, fall behind. But talk about your team not blinking. It really wasn't phased by it, where maybe other teams would have been in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, what's cool is they looked to us when we came in the dugout and we're like, hey, it's early, and I mean, if I'm just kind of a bystander out there and not a part of it, I think the two teams match up pretty similar. We can all hit. We have a decent pitching staff, and it's going to take more than one pitcher to get through our lineup. And so I just said, hey, they did it, and so can we. We've been training for this. We're prepared for this, and we've got a lot of time. So let's keep taking our at-bats and go from there. And, it's tough to go from a kid that's throwing 68, 70 to someone that kind of brings it in left side and kind of thumbs it in on us. And they did a good job of just keeping us off balance from there. But I think we see that pitcher one more time and, we get our number.
Going into this game, Missouri was ranked 20 and you guys 22, not too far off from each other. But was there anything that you specifically told the girls before the game or during the game with that kind of like number looming in the back?
Yeah, I mean, we don't listen to too much of the numbers and whatnot because we know that our focus is, I mean, we'll see what RPI looks like this year. I don't know all of that right at this point, but our focus is to finish in the top 16. So it's a no doubt that we're in there, and the numbers right now are kind of, they're just there. It's something that we recognize and we appreciate, but at the same time, we know that they can drop us out just like, with the snap of two fingers. So I think we just continue to keep getting better, and we know that it's not our destination. It's just kind of part of the journey.
So what is the message going into the next series you guys have coming up? What is the message that you're telling the team? You could be, I mean, you guys in this game, it could have been you got pretty much a play away from winning this game. So what is the mindset or the message that you're giving to the team that's getting ready for the next series coming up?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got another tough opponent coming up, and it's a different type of opponent. I think they're going to play a little bit more small ball on us and whatnot. And so, I mean, we talked about our successes in that game today. And then we talked about, look, here are a few plays and moments where we need to be better. And we can talk about these, and it's not talking, about somebody to make them feel bad. It's, this is the progress to get better, to get that hit when we need to, or move station to station when we need to. And so it's just a continuous progression of developing and getting better so that we have our best when our best is required at the end of season. But going into today, they're going to think about that game for 30 minutes, and then they get to move on. Because again, we're only as good as our next at bat and our next pitch and our next play. And so what we did in this last game isn't going to matter tomorrow.
How much big was it, getting the innings in relief and then Aaliyah closing? This is something, with the conference being a 4-game series and double headers, this is kind of the pitchers getting used to being in different roles and not just have one defined role, that they might get called their number to having come in relief in certain spots in the game. That was kind of important, too, against a great lineup like Missouri. That could pay off down the road.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's great practice, and we talked about it, and the pitchers know too. I mean, just even from the fall of facing our team over and over and over again, they learned that it's not, you can't just win with one, and sometimes you can't just win with two. And so we utilize our pitchers, and we feed off of them. Each of us have different strengths, and we're able to kind of keep the hitters balanced, unbalanced, so to speak. Because we have such differences and we complement each other. So it's great practice, because you can go and sweep a series, but to beat a same team 4 times, I don't care who you are, I don't care who they are, it's tough to do. And so having that staff and being able to pitch by committee is going to be really important for our future.
Well, thank you guys.